Hello everyone, I'm Jeff Standley with Standley Handcrafted, and I just wanted to talk about the title of this video, which is, I in fact did spend the last week in the hospital. I kind of wanted to go into details on that since I had so many people reaching out and asking about it. And of course, for those of you that don't know, if you're not in the group or anything like that, the DIY Facebook group, I did spend the last week in the hospital. And I had a lot of people reach out, made somewhat of a post on my personal page, and then of course somebody made a post in the DIY Facebook group. So I definitely wanted to reach out and just say thank you to everybody that reached out, commented on the post, sent personal messages, and basically thoughts, prayers, everything like that. It was definitely appreciated. I cannot thank you guys enough for reaching out. I definitely wanted to jump in here and also kind of just give people an update. Obviously the videos were coming kind of regularly, and then they just stopped for the last week, and that is exactly why. So I basically wanted to get in here and just do kind of a brief overview of exactly what happened, since a lot of people on the group were asking. Anybody that follows my personal Facebook page, Instagram, or anything like that, a lot of people saw some of the updates, but for those of you that didn't know, I've basically been dealing with like basically allergies, cough, shortness of breath, and everything like that for the last several months. Didn't really think too much of it, and I went to the doctor a couple times. He just told me it was allergies. Go ahead and take Claritin D, the nasal spray, everything like that. So that's of course what I did, following doctor's orders, and it would kind of go on and persist for a couple weeks to a couple months. Ended up going back to the doctor, explained to him that the allergies still weren't going on, and I've never really had allergies ever in my life, so that all of a sudden these pop up within the last year, it was a little odd to me. But of course I listened to the doctor, did what I needed to do, started taking Claritin D, pretty much any cold medicine I could think of, any allergy medicine that I could think of, and it just kind of wouldn't go away. So after several months of that, I went back to the doctor, told him it still wasn't going away. I kind of thought there was something else wrong, and he put me on a steroid inhaler, which was supposed to help with the allergies and everything like that, or it still wasn't getting better. And then of course over those several months, there were times when it would get better, times when it wouldn't get better, just really didn't know what it was. And I would have shortness of breath just walking upstairs or anything like that, get real out of breath, real winded. But like I said, it was never anything that like really put me out, so I didn't think too much of it. And then all of a sudden this last weekend, coming back from Nashville, it started to get real bad. And I don't think it was the flight or anything like that, but coming back Sunday, just had a real hard time breathing. I would walking through the airport or anything like that, walking up steep hills or stairs, I would get really out of breath. Didn't think too much of it, just figured it was the cough and the allergies and everything kind of coming back. And then of course Monday came around, I went to work, and I couldn't walk any more than like 10 stairs. And when I got to the top of the stairs, I was breathing like I had just run 5 miles. So knowing it was a little bit more severe than normal, I basically called in sick to work, or not really called in, I was already at work. And that's one of those things, I never call out sick, I never do anything like that. I usually never go home. It was definitely saying something that I was telling my boss, I have to go home, I'm just not feeling that great. And very stupidly, I was gonna go home and just rest and sleep it off. So as soon as I got home, my girlfriend came home and said, you're absolutely going to the doctor. We got to take you to the ER. So that's what we did. Ended up going to the urgent care first. They went through, ran a couple tests, and they're like, yeah, there's definitely something wrong. You have to go to the ER. So ended up going to the ER, and it's a good thing I did, because once they started testing me, there were kind of all kinds of things going wrong. Elevated heart rate, which of course is not great. I mean, I'm 45 now, so elevated heart rate definitely signals a lot of different things. Number one being heart attack, cardiac arrest. Blood pressure was way up, so that was another big sign that something kind of bad was gonna happen. And then of course they went through, did the CT scan, the chest x-ray, stuff like that, and they came back with pneumonia. And then of course they also found 2 blood clots in my lungs, or pulmonary embolism for those that are looking for medical terms. So basically just put me in the ER. I spent the night in the ER. That was basically Monday night. Spent that first night in the ER going through, just doing a bunch of testing, kind of coming back with more results, taking a lot of blood, everything like that. And then of course the next day they came through, and the next day is when they actually did the CT scan. They found basically a little bit more what was going on with my lungs and everything like that, the blood clots. And then of course immediately I was put onto like blood thinners to try and help that kind of stuff. And then basically just spent the next 4 or 5 days in the hospital recovering, going through, just kind of leveling everything out, basically making sure that everything was basically getting back to normal. And that's pretty much where we are today. It's the weekend. weekend. It's the following Monday, so that was exactly a week ago. Hadn't done anything with the channel or anything like that. I've been kind of taking it easy, resting, but I definitely wanted to get on here and say thank you for everybody that did reach out. I know I had a lot of people asking me what was going on, everything like that, but I couldn't comment. I was really trying to rest and take it easy, so I didn't comment a lot on the post or anything like that. Definitely not on my personal page, but I kind of wanted to make a video, and I have since gone back on those posts and replied to a lot of people, especially the ones that reached out in personal messages. I made sure to reply. But basically I wanted to get on here and just kind of update everybody that watches the channel, watches me, the videos, that follows the DIY group, that had a lot of questions about what was going on. So definitely something I'm keeping an eye on now. It was definitely a scary couple of days in the beginning. Things seem to be going in the positive direction now, or they definitely are going in a positive direction now. So medications, everything like that, altering everything, obviously diet, lifestyle, everything like that is being completely overhauled so that I don't end up back in the hospital again. And then of course, as much as my family and my girlfriend hate to hear it, I am anxious to get back to working and doing candles and everything like that. There's a ton of stuff coming up, so I wanted to get in here and also make sure that everybody knew that everything is still on track with everything here. I've got a bunch of new waxes from All Seasons Wax Co. I've got a bunch of vessels to wick and try out from 1617. I've got a bunch of stuff from Wood and Wick Co. I've got a bunch of stuff from Dream Vessels. So there's a ton of content coming. And then of course, after this video, I'm hoping to follow this up with a couple this week of some stuff that I've been holding off on for obvious reasons now. But most importantly, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody that reached out, everybody that saw what was happening, and basically just give a little bit of clarification on everything that did happen over the last week, just so that people aren't wondering. Since there are so many people that follow this channel, and not to mention the DIY Facebook group really grows into somewhat of a family, so it's kind of hard to have something like that happen and not let everybody know kind of what is happening and what's going on. So again, real quick, short video. It's not meant to do anything but just say thank you to everybody that reached out and just kind of let everybody know what happened. So having said that, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.